Local health authorities say Hong Kong has nothing to fear from swine fever outbreak on the mainland. And new report says climate change will be devastating for America's economy and the lives of its citizens. Local authorities have urged pig farms to step up disinfections to prevent the spread of African swine fever. The deadly disease was reported in Beijing yesterday after outbreaks in at least 20 Chinese provinces. Pig farms on the mainland are on high alert after the capital reported African swine fever cases yesterday. Authorities say 86 pigs at 2 farms in suburban Fangshan died. The viral disease is highly contagious and infects pigs. While it does not affect other animal species or humans, pig farmers remain on guard. This one says he monitors them every day and will report to the authorities before it's too late. The outbreak is the latest blow to Chinese pig farmers, many already feeling the pinch of the Sino-US trade war from rising costs on imported soybeans used as animal feed. The current atmosphere has this agriculture analyst worried that small pig farms will be driven out of business. Since the first case emerged in August, African swine fever has killed 1 million pigs in China, the world's top pig producer. Pork supplies have been affected after restrictions on meat shipments. Here in Hong Kong, health authorities are also keeping a close eye. With strengthened disinfections for pigs at the import and transportation stages and at slaughterhouses, said Sophia Chan. The Secretary for Food and Health also stressed that none of the affected farms on the mainland export to Hong Kong.
A US report says climate change will cost the American economy hundreds of billions of US dollars by the end of the century. It also predicts that natural disasters, wildfires, droughts and excessive weather change will continue to get worse. The White House calls the report inaccurate. Alan Buckner reports.
As California's catastrophic wildfires recede and people rebuild after 2 devastating hurricanes, the new U.S. federal report says these events will worsen. The White House quietly issued the National Climate Assessment yesterday, a day after the Thanksgiving Day holiday, and on Black Friday, America's biggest shopping day of the year. The report is mandated by law every few years and is based on more than 1,000 previous research studies. It details how global warming from the burning of coal, oil, and gas is hurting every region of the United States and how it impacts different sectors of the economy, including energy and agriculture. It says worsening air pollution will increase heart and lung problems and cause more diseases. The White House dismissed it as inaccurate, and President Donald Trump has repeatedly called climate change a hoax.
I want the cleanest air on the planet, which, by the way, now we have. It's gotten better since last year, even better. And I'm very, very tough on that. So when you talk about environmental, I am truly an environmentalist. A lot of people smile when they hear that. But I have the cleanest air, and I'm going to have the cleanest air. But that doesn't mean we have to put every one of our businesses out of business.
The report says climate change will be especially costly on America's coasts because of rising seas and severe storm surges. In some areas, such as parts of Louisiana and Alaska, coastal flooding will likely force people to relocate. The report notes that the last few years have smashed U.S. records for damaging weather and national disasters, costing nearly $400 billion since 2015. Alan Buckner, TVB News.
Tens of thousands of people are rallying in Paris today to protest against rising fuel costs and French President Emmanuel Macron's economic policies. This will be the second weekend of Yellow Vest protests that have led to widespread national disruption around France. Security forces are concerned that far-left and far-right extremists may infiltrate the demonstrations, escalating the crowd control challenges. Around 30,000 people are expected to protest in Paris today, while tens of thousands of others will hold rallies in other parts of France. Protest organizers say they are opposed to taxes Macron introduced last year on diesel and petrol to encourage people to shift to more environmentally friendly transport.
Thousands of demonstrators in Haiti clashed with police on the sixth day of deadly protests in the capital. Police in Port-au-Prince fired tear gas at the mob who were throwing stones and Molotov cocktails and tried to loot stores. So far, 11 have died in the violent clashes, including a man whose body was left burning near a street barricade. 6 people were killed on Wednesday by an out-of-control government vehicle. Protesters are demanding the ouster of President Jovenel Moïse, who has refused to resign. They accuse him of not investigating the alleged corruption over a Venezuelan energy subsidy program involving the previous administration. A prominent Saudi royal expects world leaders to work with Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman at the G20 summit next week. This despite persistent speculation that the Crown Prince knew about the operation to murder journalist Jamal Khashoggi at the Saudi consulate in Istanbul last month.
I think the kingdom will continue to play a role, and whether leaders in that summit will warmly engage with the Crown Prince or not, I think all of them recognize that the kingdom as a country and King Salman and the Crown Prince are people that they have to deal with.
And still to come on tonight's main news. New ticketing system for buses on the Mega Bridge doesn't go according to plan.
新田日裝有20幾款唔同嘅 mask 俾我揀，隨我心情，隨我需要自由去打，要靚就要 Day Mask 新田日裝。
Welcome back to TVB News. A new ticketing measure for bus services from Zhuhai on the Mega Bridge failed to bring the convenience promised to passengers. In fact, some paid almost triple the price for other services, while others complained they couldn't get any tickets. Christy Leung with details.
Starting today are new arrangements for pot-to-pot shuttle buses on the Hong Kong-Zhuhai-Macau Bridge. The arrangement covers only the so-called golden buses from Zhuhai to Hong Kong. Travelers must first pre-order tickets using the WeChat app and retrieve them at the Zhuhai pot with a QR code. The shuttle bus operator says the new move is to help divert passenger flow. It was very crowded during previous weeks. At least it is smoother today, said this mainland tour guide. Passengers can only buy a maximum of 10 tickets if they pre-order online. Each time slot has a limited number of tickets. Not everyone's in favor of this arrangement. My uncle wanted to join us but couldn't buy any tickets this morning, said this lady from Zhuhai. Her other family members secured their tickets 3 days in advance. That's the way to get tickets on the spot though. That's if you're a mainlander who is flying out of Hong Kong International Airport or if you hold a foreign passport or a Hong Kong identity card. Unfortunately, it wasn't the case for this man. Unreasonable, he said. I repeated that I'm a Hong Kong resident. The staff said no ticket. He ended up paying about $90 for a cross-boundary bus home when the concessionary rate on the shuttle bus is about a third. Meanwhile, the government clarified today that pop-up stores selling souvenirs will only begin operating next week. The goal is to divert day trippers from heading to Tung Chung or other parts of the city for shopping. Christy Leung, TVB News.
Police are investigating a fatal traffic accident that left a motorcyclist dead in Tingyi early this morning. The accident happened at around 1:20 a.m. on Tingyi Road West. The 34-year-old motorcyclist reportedly crashed into a bus stopped by the roadside. He suffered head injuries, fell unconscious and was taken to hospital, but he was declared dead half an hour later.
The police chief stands by a female officer's decision to fire her gun inside an MTR station earlier this month. Stephen Lowe said he is proud the policewoman opened fire when faced with a man who held a cutter knife. He revealed police reached out to 5 witnesses and obtained video footage to review the case, amid criticism from the suspect's family of an unjust investigation. The female officer shot a 55-year-old man after he reportedly waved a cutter knife inside Shamsherpur MTR station during the morning rush hour. The Czech coalition government survived a no-confidence vote over a feud scandal implicating Prime Minister Andrej Babiš. More than 1,000 people protested after the vote, calling for the Prime Minister to step down. Babiš is accused of misusing EU subsidies for a farm he transferred to relatives, including his son. Pressure on Babiš increased after his son said he was deliberately kept in Crimea so he wouldn't have to be questioned.
Really, I'm disappointed. I said it's unacceptable that government with such a person in front of it didn't fall.
The pressure is step by step in advance, and it's the moment when rest of the government know that more and more of public is against the Prime Minister, so it's better to continue without him.
And that's the news.